Yesterday night I decided to drive home from the hospital. The rain pounded against my windshield, and the wipers barely managed to keep up with the torrential downpour. I had taken this route countless times, but tonight, the winding road through the forest seemed more ominous than ever. As I drove, I noticed a gas gauge inching towards empty. My heart raced as I realized I might not make it home without refueling. Just when I thought all hope was lost, I spotted a dimly lit gas station in the distance. Relieved, I pulled in and parked under the flickering lights. The gas station looked like it hadn't been updated since the 1950s. The old-fashioned pumps and peeling paint added to its eerie atmosphere. I stepped out of my car and was immediately greeted by a chilling gust of wind. I hurried to fill up my tank, eager to get back on the road. As I pumped gas, I noticed a figure in the shadows near the entrance of the gas station. It was an elderly man with a weathered face and hollow eyes. He was staring at me intently. Feeling uneasy, I tried to ignore him, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Once my tank was full, I quickly replaced the nozzle and headed inside to pay. The interior of the gas station was just as creepy as the outside. Dim lights flickered overhead, casting long shadows on the dusty aisles stocked with outdated snacks and drinks. The old man had followed her inside and was now standing behind the counter. "Late night, huh?" he rasped, his voice as unsettling as his appearance. "Yeah, just heading home," I replied, forcing a smile. The old man handed me a receipt, but as I turned to leave, he spoke again. "Be careful on the road. Strange things happen around here on nights like this." I nodded, feeling a shiver run down my spine. I hurried back to my car, eager to leave the creepy gas station behind. As I drove away, I couldn't shake the old man's words from her mind. A few miles down the road, my car suddenly sputtered and came to a halt. I tried to restart it, but the engine wouldn't turn over. Panic set in as I realized I was stranded in the middle of nowhere, in the dead of night, during a storm. I grabbed my phone to call for help, but there was no signal. Desperate, I decided to brave the rain and look for a nearby house to ask for assistance. I spotted a faint light through the trees and started walking towards it. As I got closer, I saw that the light was coming from an old, decrepit mansion. The windows were broken, and the front door hung ajar. It looked abandoned, but it was my only hope. I hesitated for a moment before stepping inside. The interior was even more unsettling than the outside. The air was thick with the smell of mold and decay. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling, and the floor creaked under my feet. As I moved through the dark, empty rooms, I heard faint whispers echoing around me. I followed the whispers to a room at the end of a long hallway. Inside, I found a dusty old mirror with a cracked frame. The whispers grew louder as I approached it, and I could feel a cold breeze emanating from the glass. Suddenly, the mirror fogged up, and words appeared on its surface, "Help US." I stumbled back in shock, but the door slammed shut behind me before I could react. The whispers turned into agonized screams, and I felt a cold hand grasp my shoulder. Terrified, I spun around to find myself face to face with a ghostly figure. It was the old man from the gas station, but now his eyes were filled with sorrow instead of malice. You shouldn't have come here," he whispered, echoing through the room. This place is cursed. We are all trapped here, and now you are too." I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The ghostly figure began to fade, and the room grew darker and colder. I felt pulled towards the mirror, the screams growing louder with each passing second. In a final, desperate act, I closed my eyes and wailed with all my might to be free from this nightmare. When I opened them again, I found myself back in my car, the engine running smoothly. The rain had stopped, and the road was clear. Shaken but relieved, I drove home as fast as I could. I never spoke of that night again, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I had narrowly escaped a terrible fate. I've discovered my purpose is to seek out and explore supernatural entities and places. As a result, I've chosen to assist individuals haunted by these spirits. Would you like to join me?